your numbers are ridiculous. I've looked at them, and you said that when I used to come back and play first-class cricket, I used to get lots of wickets. I don't know whether you know them. That you've got what, 300 and something first-class, 318 or 320 Ranji Trophy wickets at 18, which is just ridiculous. This is just silly. Even in county cricket, where the good spinners in county cricket get wickets at an average of 32, Dilip bhai, you average around 24 something, or even Bishan Paji is around the same. So would you say that county cricket helped you a lot, because your record as an international bowler in Australia is outstanding, in England is outstanding. So would you say that county cricket honed those skills for you?
Absolutely. I owe a lot to English cricket. The English cricket system is a very fair cricket system. Obviously, you will find some unhappiness anywhere if you want to. But
Correct.
Overall, I think it's a very, very credible system. They are interested in looking at players who will help their team win and further the career of young players. So I must say that I'm grateful to them for offering me the opportunity, which I was not able to get in India. So that way, I think I'm really grateful to them. And I've enjoyed everything. And I played at every level. I enjoyed playing at Village Green. I enjoyed playing minor county also. And so it was nice, actually. They really loved the game. And you played the game to win because you want your team to become the champion in a league where you're playing. So it always keeps you, competitive minded. And you have to find new ways of getting people out and that kind of thing. So it was very nice. I must admit that I look at it with great fondness.
You've always had a business mind and an acumen to life post your cricket. Would you say that did you have those kind of qualities while you were bowling? Did you bring any of those qualities to bowling? Your entrepreneurial skills?
Yes, you have to, in a way, if you look back at it. Maybe I may be permitted to give this one or two examples, and I hope the listeners don't misunderstand, neither you, but this will give you, since you asked me the question. See, I always believe that we can win the game if you try. And I had good faith in my own ability. You can never be sure when you try whether you're going to win that or not. But hey, if you don't try, how are you going to find out?
Correct.
So we were playing a Gillette Cup game against Essex, the then county championship leaders in 1976. And I was playing for Hertfordshire, a minor county. And so minor county, who were champions in the previous year, were allowed to play Gillette Cup. And so we were bowled out for about 157. And Essex was 70 for 1, growing great guns to win the game. And Frank Collier, who was a lawyer from Southend-on-Sea, our captain, I walked up to Frank and I said, Frank, I think I need the ball now, because if we don't try now, we cannot win this game. He looked at me in disgust. He said, Dilip, we are playing Essex. They just need 80 runs to win. And they've already got 70 runs in 12 overs. I said, yeah, but we need to try our arm and we need to try. I believe we can win. So I took the ball. Robin Jones was an off spinner who was for Oxford. He bowled at the other end. The rest is history. We bowled them out for 120.
Wow.
And we have 500 to 1 odds. What I did was I surrounded the batsman with fielders. The ball was turning. And he said, but limited overs. I said, yeah, but the only way you can win this game is to bowl them out. You can't defend this. And so we won the game. And that's how it happens. So if you don't try, so it's an entrepreneurial taking the risk, but not a gamble. See, you're taking a risk. What do you have to lose?
True.
So I'm just giving an idea. So those are the instincts you have and you go for it.
Correct.
Sometimes you win them. And if you don't win them, at least you know you tried. That's the way I look at it. Maybe that helped me in my work because I wanted to build something different. I wanted to also do international trading business. I like to explore various areas. You know, you make friends overseas, and that's the kind of approach I have. So it came naturally to me.
Dilip, do you remember these figures? 8 overs, 7 maidens, 1 run, 1 wicket. Do you know what figure I'm talking about?
Yes, of course. I would be hypocritical to say I don't remember. No. Yeah. Yes. So just they were got against Nottinghamshire in a John Player League. When my team Nottinghamshire were not playing me many Sunday League games because we had 3 overseas players, Clive Rice, Kenny Watson from South Africa, a fast bowler, and myself. So they felt that since I'm playing all the county games, Kenny Watson should get a chance to play the Sunday League games. And I kept on saying, but why don't we want to win? Why do we want to just say, no, no, no. So anyway, I got this chance. I got these figures. I was thrilled. And the next game, they didn't play.
You were dropped.
I didn't play the next 8 games.
Yeah, I know, I know.
I was dropped. So when we went to play against Kent at Canterbury, and when my captain came and said, sorry, Dilip, you're not playing because this is a seaming wicket, we don't think it will spin. I cannot repeat what I told my captain, but in the choicest words, I told him he can keep his opinion to where it belongs. You know? And
did you not take a bat and hit him on his head?
No, no. I think sometimes the words are more effective. And then what happened was, Underwood was sitting there, Derek Underwood. Derek just said with his dry sense of humor, said, Dilip, you're too expensive. You gave that 1 run away last week. But anyway, this is the vagaries of playing professional cricket when these things happen, but you take it in your stride.
Do you remember 6 for 6 versus Hassan as well?
Yes, of course. Yes, they're nice, good old days.
Brilliant old days, Dilip. You also, Nottinghamshire was when I played county cricket, it was always known as the seam bowler's paradise because every seamer wanted to sign for Nottinghamshire because it used to swing. Swinging ground is what they used to call. But I think during your time, I think it was a flat bed. Would you say it was a batsman's paradise at that point of time, like it has become now?
Oh, it was completely a batsman's paradise. Before 79, it was a complete bat. The introduction of Richard Headley, along with Clive Rice, they made the seaming and the fully grassed pitch to take advantage of their presence. And prior to that, it was batting paradise. If you look at the scores, oh, by the way, I must tell you one thing else, that county cricket was played on uncovered pitches before 1977. From 1978, the English Cricket Board changed the rules and made it covered pitches. So you learned a lot playing on uncovered pitches also. And so this was a way of honing your talent. But it was always a batting paradise. I can assure you of that.
What would you tell the modern young spinners? You've watched a lot of them. You watched our current day spinners, and as you rightly said, a student of the game, you're never far away from watching it. How do you feel that the game has progressed, where you feel that the old school habits can still exist and peacefully coexist? What would you tell the modern day spinners?
Then I would say to them, look at Nathan Lyon, very successful bowler at test level, possibly or easily rather the best spin bowler today. And then of course, it depends on the child's ambition, the bowler's ambition. If he's just looking to get a place in IPL, then you need to explain to him better. So it depends on an individual. But of course, the first thing I would tell any spinner is to spin the ball and to explain to him the importance of a side-on action. Open-chested action, in my view, has no place in high-quality cricket because you cannot last, because it will give you a shoulder pain, it will give you a hip pain and back pain because this is an unnatural way of bowling spin. So first thing, spin the ball for any youngster and to acquire a side-on action. And the coaches he has got, if they understand it or not, but they must look at this. This is the only way I feel the game will prosper with spin bowlers. And world has looked at India all the time. And sadly, we do not have that nursery today.
Yeah, true. Very true. I think many spinners need to possibly join hands to bring that old school thought process behind spin bowling. Early on, Dilip, you said that you used to bowl to your chacha who was a left-hander, you didn't get him out. But funnily, in international cricket, do you remember the batsman you got the most was a left-hander?
You stumped me here.
Alan Border, 6 times.
Oh, yes. He also brought the best out in. Alan, Alan Border, Greg Chappell, Javed Miandad, they brought the best out in me.
And also, I think Wasim Raja as well. You've got him a
I got him out
fair few times, and Ian Botham as well.
Yeah, both also, of course. These are challenges I loved.
You mentioned Javed Miandad, and I think for any spinner to bowl well to him must have been an absolute challenge. Any interesting anecdotes? There's this funny thing which people say, and I would love to hear it from you. That he kept asking you which room number was yours. What story is it? I still can't understand it.
Okay. Basically, you got to understand Javed as he has the street fighting attitude. A truly great batsman, one of the best that I've ever bowled to. I respected him as an opponent. And actually, he's a good friend as well. A lovely man off the field. He's got sense of humor. But once he got on the field, it was like a change of character. And he loved room outside the off stump. And my style of bowling is bowling at the stumps. And so therefore what happened was I restricted his favorite shots. And if he wanted to carry on, he had to take risk. And sometimes he wasn't willing to do that. So it would frustrate him. And the only way he would try to get you off your wavering concentration was to create some sense of irritability. And he was good at that. And he has done it with Kiran More, he has done it with Dennis Lilly, and he did it many more times with me. So he would try to tell the close-in fielder something, to pass on a message to me, or talk across after the ball is bowled, and I bowl very tight to him. So when I'm retrieving the ball from near him, within his earshot, he would say something. So that day, what he was trying to do at Bangalore on my recall test was trying to tell me, what's your room number? Tera room number kya hai? I want to hit the ball there. So it became a legendary thing, and many people have repeated this with a little mirchi masala, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It was all in good banter. And,
all for after dinner speeches.
Yeah, of course. But it was fun. Yeah. And I didn't realize you got me stumped because I didn't realize how many times I'd got AB. But really great players that I bowled to, yeah.
No, but you still didn't finish the story on Javed Miandad. Is that all he said? Kaun se room pe, kya hai room number?
Yeah. Then I want to hit you there. So,
but did he actually hit you, or did you didn't allow him to hit you?
No, he struggled. I bowled quite well. He made 98, he got out. But that was the last test match I played. And I think I had bowled quite well. And I felt very, very dejected and disappointed, and even bitter at that moment to be left out after that of the team when all the critics who were watching declared me as the best bowler by far in the match. So then you realize there was no point in persisting playing for India. And that's where I decided I'll play one season for Saurashtra, my home state from the birth point of view, and where I have a lot of association and connection. So I went to play there for one season before calling it a day and developing my own business.
Dilip, mental fortitude has always been a big part of you. Bowling with a broken foot, I think 73, 74 overs to get five at Melbourne. I think that must be tough, isn't it? Can you recall those moments?
Kartik, I can tell you that. Unfortunately, my teammate, my roommate rather, that day, that game was T. Srinivasan. He's not here. I would have loved to hear his story. What happened was, I broke my foot. He
was the one who famously said, "Tell Dennis that T is on his way," or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah. He was a better batsman than he realized, but that's another day. So what happened was, I broke my foot with an in-swinging Yorker against Queensland on the 1st February, 81. And I hobbled off the field, and there was a scribe called Kishore Vimani. He was present there, and I had to go to the hospital to get an X-ray. And Kishore said, "What happened?" I said, "Kishore, I've got a broken foot." He said, "How do you know?" I said, "You know the feeling." And so he accompanied me to the clinic. And after the X-ray came, and doctor said, "You shouldn't be walking, and you have to take complete rest, and for 3 weeks." And I said to him, "It's not possible because I've got a test match on the 7th. He said, "All I can tell you is when you go to Melbourne, put your foot in the ice to keep the swelling down, but you shouldn't be walking for 3 weeks." So Kishore asked me what is to be done. I said, no, I'm going to play the match. So then what happened was, I told the team, Raj Singh was there as an All India commentator, and Wing Commander Durrani, a fine gentleman, he was the manager. And I told Sunil, also my captain, that I've got a bruised foot, but I'll be all right for the match. So they said, okay. And during my stay in the room, Dr. Bill Giuliano, the Melbourne Football Club physiotherapist, used to come to my room, put electrodes on my feet to keep the swelling down. And the day before the match, in the team meeting, I was asked, "Are you fit to play?" And I said, "Yes, I'm fit to play. But you haven't bowled for 7 days. We need you to prove your fitness tomorrow morning and bowl at least 12 deliveries to our satisfaction before we let you play." I said, "Fine." Trust me, it was very, very tough, and I'm underplaying it. So I have great faith in my meditation I do, and my prayers and all these things. And I went to the field the next day, and I must tell you that I learned how not to put my weight on my left foot, which was broken, which was the leg behind and swinging across. And I bowled 12 deliveries, watched by Raj Singh, Wing Commander Durrani, and my captain, Sunil Gavaskar. And they said, okay. Then I only made one request to my captain, that if you don't mind, I will fill that mid-on in both the sides, so that since my foot is very bruised, it will save me from running around. None of that happened. I had to filter the boundary. But I was able to play the game. I had to put my foot into a bucket of ice every interval, so that I was able to wear the socks and tie my boots. And I was able to play through sheer willpower, self-belief, and by the grace of God. I mean, I must tell you, this extremely fond memory.
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine, because look, to put a bruised foot, and I know, thankfully for you, it was not your landing foot. That must have been doubly harder.
That's the saving grace.
But, yeah, that's the saving grace. But imagine even putting your foot with socks into your shoes. Possibly you needed a shoe which opened up and you could feel it from outside, so that you don't have to put your feet underneath. So when I thought about it, I was like, how did he do it? How did he manage to do it?
No, I must tell you, very tough period, determined to do what I wanted to do. And the result was very important to me, because really I believe that we should have won the series, let alone draw. So having lost the first game in less than 3 days and drawn the second one honorably where I was able to bowl well, I had full confidence that, and if you look at the highlights of that third test, and Richie Beno kept on saying that if I bowl to my potential, India would win. That meant a lot of pressure on me. When somebody like Beno kept on saying that if Dilip Doshi bowls to his potential, those were very kind words. He didn't realize what I was going through, but it put enormous pressure on me, inside me, to say that at least God, let me go through this game without having to leave the field. And that we won was a great bonus.
What would your fastest delivery have clocked, Dilip bhai?
It's difficult to say. I would like to believe that my stock delivery would have been, in terms of mile, 52 max.
So that means around 82, 83 kilometers per hour?
Possibly. We never got it tested, but
Correct.
I believe that. And my quicker ball could have been close to 65 to 70 miles.
Okay.
But I didn't bowl too many cricket balls.
Yeah, I know.
And by the way, in this game, I employed an arm ball to clean bowl Kim Hughes, and I never used to bowl arm ball.
Yeah, I was going to come to that. I said that you've never...
I never bowled an arm ball. And what I did was that particular delivery, because because the wicket was slow, he went back and cut me twice in last 3 overs, square cut for 4. And I knew he would do that. And he was a great player of spin bowling. And he was a key. So what I did was, that particular delivery, I opened the axis of my palm instead of the wrist being like this. And I did that. So I undercut the ball deliberately, and it really did the work. And I must thank God for him being able to, because his wicket was crucial for us to change the course of the game at that stage on the last day.
Did you ever bowl the swinging arm ball?
No, never.
No.
I was always very much stuck to my classic grip. That particular day, I did this and I went like that. But that's the only thing. I didn't do it again, because I dare not do it again.
That's amazing, because for you to have, I'm saying for you to have taken so many wickets, just stock delivery, relying on stock delivery, is just amazing, just like Nathan.
But I had top spin. Because what you could do is you could overspin like this, it would go. So that you learn as a variation, natural variation. Sometimes you were spinning the ball normally as a stock delivery, but still it went as a top spin. This is what I call the natural variations. So if your line is good on the stumps, and if it doesn't spin and it goes straight through, and mind well, there was no DRS in those days.
No,
it was very difficult to get decisions.
Quite a few things which correlate, Dilip bhai. You, as I mentioned before, you were very good in Australia, against Australia in Australia, where many spinners have found it tough because they say you need to bowl more of overspin than side spin. I think you vindicate that point, because you said that you used to bowl a bit of top spin and you were constantly relying on overspin.
Time and again, it would come as an overspin, but the tendency has to be to bowl your stock ball. And it will happen that some of those stock ball, you're overspun naturally. And that's the, what I call the unpredictable nature of the revolutions, it going through the air. And Australia is quite windy at places. So you need to know which way the wind is blowing. So where you have to pitch the ball. Otherwise, you find you bowling a good delivery, drifting down the leg side, and everything is lost. So as you said earlier, all the young bowlers must learn to be students of the game.
Did you drift the ball? Did you believe in drift?
Every spinner, when he spins the ball, must get a natural drift or a swerve. I would call it rather swerve. So a left-arm spinner, when he bowls proper action and his left bowling arm finishes on his right thigh. So when you cut it across, the ball has a natural swerve which drifts the ball towards the leg of the batsman. But after pitching, either it must straighten or spin.
Spin.
And so that's the natural thing that you learn to use.
So where did you want your wind blowing from, ideally for that?
If it is blowing from short third man, then you have to adjust like that. Actually, you learn this in county cricket as well, because England has got those conditions. Some of the smaller grounds are open.
Correct.
And you're playing against all the weather conditions. So this is where you learn the tough way.
And also, Dilip, do you notice that the spinners whom you must have enjoyed and who are really good spinners, the way they finished, when they finished, especially their bowling arm, was actually below their knee, when their knee was ramrod straight. So when they finished, rather than the many spinners where you see them just finish around their hips. Do you see that?
You see that. But again, as I said, if the same bowler is able to do what he wants to do and the team wants to do, bless him, then he is successful in his own way. I think there is no particular way everybody should bowl, except three basics, that a spinner must essentially spin the ball and he should be side on. He cannot be open chested. Apart from these two things, we cannot insist anything. And if you're doing these two things, you will have a follow through.
Yeah, correct. Every bowler, every spinner, every bowler, every batsman have their own issues with certain types of batsmen. And I'm not asking for names. What types of batsmen irritated you? And what types of batsmen did you like to bowl against?
Okay, I think everything depends on the circumstances of the game.
Okay.
So let's say that people who irritated you, at least in those days, were people who were able to play, because my line was bowling on the stumps. And they would play you, try to sweep you, play across the line, and get away with murder because they wouldn't get LB. That's what slightly irritated you as a bowler. Because you're bowling to them a wicket to wicket line, they try to hit you across because they are not finding room to play outside the off stump. Then those kind of things frustrated me more. Of course, I cannot put my hand on my heart and say that I love to bowl to these people or that people, because in this game, you never really believe that he is your bunny or something like that, because you can be sadly mistaken. See, it's easier for the press to say, but a bowler must never fancy his chances and say, okay, now my mouth is watering, I'm going to get these people out. No, it doesn't work like that. Then you become complacent. So I think challenge is to bowl to every top player who will use his feet, who is not afraid to lift the ball and take chances. That's a great challenge. And the moment you become slightly complacent, you lose the grip over the game.
True. And you mentioned DRS. There was also a time, I think till 2000, where if the batsman didn't read you or was beaten in the air, they would safely tuck their back behind the pad as if they were defending and they were not given out. I think, is that something which really irked you or really bothered you?
Yeah.
Because that did bother me. You bowl a good ball, and I sometimes feel 6 or 7 years of first-class cricket, people just used to, on especially dead flat Indian tracks, they would just safely keep their bat behind just to indicate to the umpire that they were defending while they were not. So that really irritated the hell out of me.
Yes, I came across a lot of this in English county cricket. People used to put their pad in line of the ball and the bat was only just behind to make sure that the umpire cannot give it out. In those days, anybody played forward, nobody ever gave anybody out.
Correct.
So I think those were the things which irritated me a lot. And sometimes I would egg on to the batsman and I would say, why don't you play with a bat? Never in a bat. So, you know, then he would tell you jokingly, why don't you bowl me here? Because he wants you to bowl outside the stumps so that he can have a full swing. So that used to be a little friendly banter.
Ever wondered, Dilip bhai, that you could have had a couple hundred more wickets if the umpire started giving those kind of decisions much earlier? Because you were so wicket to wicket.
I do feel that people like me who bowl stumps to stump line were deprived of many wickets. But that's looking back, because the game has changed now. DRS has got many spinners and many bowlers, many more wickets than they would have otherwise got, which is good for the game. I think the batsmen have to realize that they've got a bat. They must play with a bat. And the game is essentially a batsman's game. So generally everything is loaded in the batsman's favor. So there is no reason why they should not use the bat. This is where I consider people like Sagathil Sobers as real gems. Did you know, Kartik, that he never padded up ever in his life? He played with the bat. If you missed it, that's fine. He never padded up, because I was asking why you do that. And when I was in the club, he said, man, I've got a bat. If I can't bat with my bat, why should I bat with my pads?
Right.
Prophetic words, but he had the ability.
Did the pitch ever matter to you? Were you ever thinking, oh, this is a helpful wicket or this is a flat wicket? Did you ever think about the pitch?
Initially, when I started playing cricket, yes. Only when it was turning, I used to get a little more excited because I could spin the ball. And then you learn very fast that as soon as you are overexcited, you expect too much out of yourself. And then you may bowl a wrong length and wrong line, which happened to me as a learning curve. On a good pitch, you're obviously always on your toes, because you know that this pitch is not going to afford much help to you. So you really need to rely on your length and line and the control. That's the way. And set your field right. I think the most important thing is set the field right, and do not waste fielders, which is why another thing I think modern day young spinner waste a lot of fielders.
Your ideology of keeping a top batsman quiet is going to get you a wicket. I think, were you of the belief that you need to look at the big shots of a batsman and put the fielder there? Were you of that kind, or were you always waiting for him to play the odd few shot and then put the man there? What was your ideology to field setting?
I went into many arguments with my different captains on this. I think I used to believe in and out field. What it meant was, when a batsman came in, no matter who he was, and you were attacking him, you were bowling to him, and you had a slip and a bat pad or short leg, and sometimes a silly mid-off or silly point, depending on the type of batsman and what his initial reaction when he comes to the crease is. Then many of them, I knew, when they got bothered by this, they would jump out and want to play a shot to disperse and to probably establish that they are on top. So you have to anticipate them playing this lofted shot, and you need to have the fielder there. And as if luck would have it, it used to happen that some of the players like Javed Miandad, Ian Botham, even Graham Gooch, these are all top players that I've bowled to. They would jump out and lift the ball. It would never go for a six initially, but it would be at long off, about 10, 15 yards inside the boundary, and go for four. So I always used to believe that the best way is to double insurance. You got your people close in, saving one, taking a catch, and should he want to jump out and hit you, then you also need to imagine have a man there. So when he makes his first mistake putting the ball in the air, he should pay the price. But many captains didn't understand that, and they said, no, but let him play a shot. I said, by the second time it's too late. He's already learnt it. So that used to be a little bit of discussion with the captain. But by and large, yes, I would always imagine, visualize where he's going to play a shot. This is part of the mind game.
Your lengths, did they vary depending on whether the wicket was a flat one or a turning track, Dilip?
Yes, I think when I started, I used to bowl a line or length, which I was told I learned, that was a shade shorter of getting the edge, which meant that I've even beaten a batsman 6 times, though all the balls he played and missed. great. You feel
Looks
good.
good. Yeah, looks good.
But it has to be 6 inches or 4 inches. The difference is only this much. If it is pitched up, then is likely to result into a snake. And that you learn by continuously playing the game at different levels. Different pitches, the length has to vary depending on the pitch. And nobody, I would hate it if people played me off the back foot. That means my length and the flight or the arc, whatever you call, is not right.
So the 6 inches which you mentioned, is that for a turning track or for a flat track, which you're talking about?
Depends on the batsman. Even on a
Okay.
flat track, if the pitch is slow, if you're 6 inches shorter, people can still play you off the back foot. So you adjust that as you go along in the first few overs. You realize the nature of the pitch and the type of the batsman. Some people want to play late and they would wait for the ball to pitch up and play, knowing the wicket. So that's what I mean. You learn all these things while you continue to play, and it builds your memory as a bowler, how he played you before. So next time when you play him, you would know what to do.
There's a huge school of thought that on turning tracks, and I'm talking about ranked turners, you should be quicker through the air. There's a different thing when the pitch is flat and you're deceiving him by flight. And then there are pitches which aid turn, but which are not massive turners or not Bunsen burners. Do you believe in that as well? That on a raging turner, you need to be quicker through the air, or even on a turning track, which is aiding turner, you need to be slightly quicker through the air?
To a certain degree, yes. As long as you do not sacrifice the spinning ball. Because many times in order to bowl quicker, people sacrifice that loop. The loop is important. Even if you bowl quicker, it is propelling the spinning ball at a certain speed. You cannot go like this. You cannot bowl a dart. If you bowl a dart, of course, on a very bad pitch, it will straighten, it will do all sorts of things that will change the course of the variation of the pitch. You need to change.
Thanks. Dilip bhai, it's been absolutely fascinating, absolutely brilliant talking to you. Any parting thoughts? Any parting statement? Any parting comments?
Well, I think this great game has given us all such a lot. It's given you and me and all the people we have played with their first identity. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm grateful to the game itself, people who invented it in that way. We wouldn't be having this chat if we didn't play this game. And the game has given me a lot. And I've enjoyed playing it everywhere. Made a lot of friends, taken me around the world, and taught me lessons which no university can teach. So I must say that happy to have done everything that I've done, and no regrets really.
And happy to have had you, and happy to have picked your brains on this wonderful topic. Dilip bhai, thanks once again.
Kartik, it's been enormous pleasure to speak to you. I must say that you asked me many right questions to get my thoughts out from the deep side. And I thank you for looking at that. I thank you and the platform for giving me an opportunity to speak and share my experiences. And I wish you very well and the program a great success.
Thank you, Dilip bhai. That's the main endeavor here, because what happens is that lots of kids and people, even people who want to know about the game, they don't know many things. For us, everybody teaches from a manual, and as you said, so many coaches teach you from certain things which they believe. But what happens is that when a kid is put in a certain situation, he says, "Oh, Dilip Doshi also thought like this. Swan also thought like that. Daniel Vettori thought like that." So there's a lot of takeaways from there which they can relate to, and that's been my endeavor here. So thanks once again.
I must say one more thing. This is where the families come into big time play. I would suggest to the budding cricketers' parents to take a little more interest in the game itself and understand, rather than hand them over to a coach or somebody. Only I think there are some few good academies, you know, who will probably encourage you the right way. And I can say to you that Dilip Circus Academy is a good reason, because I've seen that they follow the old-fashioned way. And if you follow the old-fashioned way, because the game is old-fashioned, and therefore you need to do that. So it's important to for the parents to be understanding the game as well, which will guide the children better. And I'm sure even you, as a growing up kid, you had guidance from your family itself, like I had. And so I think that's the key. That's the real key.
Yeah. Thank
and
you.
Thank you, play the game for the love of it, not for the money. Money should be a byproduct of what we do.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
100%. 100%. 100%. Thanks once again. Thank you, Dilip.
Pleasure.